The rain pattered softly against the windshield as Mike and Josh drove through the winding back roads. The soft hum of the car's heater was the only warmth they had as they cut through the fog-filled nights. Mike's eyes were glued to his phone, refreshing a Facebook Marketplace listing for the 100th time. A 67 Mustang in near condition, practically a dream come true for him. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Josh asks, glancing over at him. The road was barely visible, the streetlights spaced far apart, and the fog dense enough to swallow any beams from their headlight. "Trust me, man," Mike replied, more animated than Josh has seen in him in a while. "This is a steal. The guy's only asking $5,000. Do you know how much this thing could sell for, fully restored?" Josh shook his head uneasily. They've been driving for over an hour, deep into the rural outskirts. It just seems weird. Who sells a car like that for next to nothing? Mike shrugged it off. "Some old guy who doesn't know what it's worth. He probably want it gone fast. People do this all the time." But even as he said it, Mike's voice waved slightly. Finally, they turned onto a dark road bordered on either side by dense dark woods. According to the GPS, this was the final stretch. Josh's grip tightened on the wheel as they edged along the path, barely wide enough for the car. The trees seemed to close in, branches clawing at the side mirrors, scratching like nails on a chalkboard. "There!" Mike said, suddenly pointing to a faint glow ahead. A house or something that might once have been a house stood at the end of the road. Paint was peeling off in patches and the windows were dark and empty, save for a single light on the porch. "Are you serious?" Josh asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. "This place look abandoned, man." Mike ignored him, got out the car, pulling his hood up against the rain. Josh hesitated before reluctantly following him, every instinct screaming to get back in the car and leave. But Mike was already headed towards the door, peering into the shallows. "Hello?" Mike called out, his voice echoed, swallowed up by silence. The porch creaked, and from the darkness a figure emerged, moving slowly, almost dragging. A man, or at least what looked like one, stopped into the dim porch lights. His skin was pale and sagging like it had been stretched too tight over his bones. His clothes were disheveled mess, stained with oil and something darker. "You the guys looking for the car?" he rasped, voice like gravel. His eyes flickered with something unreadable as he gestured towards the side of the house. "Yeah, that's us," Mike said, forcing a smile, stepping forward. Josh grabbed his arm, his voice low. "Mike, let's just go. Relax, man. We come this far. Don't be weird, dude." They followed the man around the corner of the house. Every step they took seemed to amplify the tension, the feeling that something was very, very wrong. When they rounded the corner, they saw the car, a pristine 67 Mustang, exactly as promised. It shone even in the weak porch lights, like a treasure buried in its grim landscape. "See?" Mike said, smiling back at Josh, who forced a nod though his eyes were glued to the ground. The man stepped closer, his voice lowering to a near whisper. "It's all yours for a small price." "Yeah, $5,000, right?" Mike said, pulling out a crumpled envelope from his pocket, counting the bills. The man's lips twisted into a smile, but there was no warmth in it. "Not money. The car needs a little something extra." Josh took a step back. "What the hell does that mean?" The man tilted his head, his eyes gleaming with something feral. "A piece of you? A small part? A finger? Maybe, or an eye? Just a little token of your commitment, then she's yours. You can even give me an ear if you like." Mike laughed, but it came out weak. "Good one, buddy. Seriously, here's the cash. I'll drive her out." The man didn't move. Instead, he stepped even closer, the faint smell of decay hitting him like a wave. "She doesn't run without a sacrifice. That's the deal. That's always been the deal. His fingers twitch unnaturally long and glum. Josh grabbed Mike's arm, yanking him backwards. We're leaving now! But before they could take a step, a sound echoed from behind them. A low groaning noise like metal scrapping against metal. They turned to see the Mustang headlights flicker on, glowing a slightly yellow. The engine roared to life, but no one was in the driver's seat. The man grinned, his teeth yellow and sharp. She's waiting, hungry. It's been too long since her last meal. The car lurched forward on his own, grinding across the muddy ground, inching towards them with a sinister intent. Mike's fascination was gone now, replaced by a primal fear. He turned ready to bolt, but the man's claws-like hand caught his wrist, nails digging into his skin. Run, Josh! Run, Josh! Mike screamed, struggling against the man's inhuman grip. But Josh was already running, his feet pounding against the dirt as he sprinted back to the car. He threw himself inside, hands trembling as he fumbled for the keys. He looked up just in time to see the Mustang lurch forward, the headlights blinding. Mike's scream piercing the night before it was cut off, swallowed by the darkness and the rain. Last thing Josh saw was the man standing there, one hand raised in a mock salute as the Mustang headlights faded into the mist, carrying Mike along with whatever fate awaited him into the night. Josh never returned to that road, and he never spoke of what he'd seen. But some nights he would hear a low rumble outside the windows, like an engine revving, waiting, just waiting. And that night haunt him. And yes, it haunts him for the rest of his days.